The following is a paid program by the Whitley Law Firm. Welcome to Attorneys on Call, the program that gives you free legal information from the Whitley Law Firm. Now, here's your host, Drew Smith.
Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Attorneys on Call. You know, many of us have been there at some point or another, injured in a car accident, or let's say you were on the job and you possibly injured your knee or your back, but you were injured on the job and it was serious. You were involved in that car accident and it was serious, and you really weren't sure what to do at that point. You didn't know where to turn. That's why we're here, because the next half hour, we're going to answer a lot of those questions. And what you might find hard to believe, but is true, is that you can contact the Whitley Law Firm at any time, and it's going to be free. No charge at all. You can call the 800 number on your screen. You can go to whitleylawfirm.com. One of the attorneys will be getting back to you promptly. And like I said, it's always a free call. In studio with us, Bob Whitley and Ben Whitley from the Whitley Law Firm. Guys, always great to see you and be with you.
It's good to be here.
Good to be here.
Ben, Whitley Law Firm, you are dedicated to personal service, and I know that your dad started this firm because he feels like he's an advocate for the people of North Carolina that need legal representation and they need help. But I think it's interesting is that people can reach out and can contact you, and there's no charge.
Absolutely, it's free. And one of the things that it always surprises us is that sometimes on those initial calls, people will ask us, how much is this going to cost, even though it's on our websites and we talk about it on the show, and even the commercials they may see, it indicates it's a free call. So I just want to let everybody know that it is a free call, and then they can ask questions, and we'll certainly let them know if they need to hire us. And you know, I've learned everything I've learned how to be an attorney from my dad, who is my mentor, and he has taught us all how to treat people and to make sure people are treated with respect and we get information to them. And so it's just a real honor to work with him and the other attorneys in the firm to offer this type of help for people in North Carolina.
Bob, I've heard you say before, it kind of is interesting where you'll get a call from someone who's maybe represented by someone else, and they'll say, well, I can't get my attorney to return my call. How does that happen?
Well, I don't know how it happens, and you know, it just happens a lot, and it's sad to me. And it's not necessarily that we're perfect about returning phone calls. We do our very best, and sometimes you're unsuccessful at doing that. Sometimes you get called away to court, or you have a motion that's got to be heard, and you may not be able to return that call quite as quickly as you'd like to. But I learned a long time ago that, and I think I learned this from my dad, you know, as Ben learned it from his dad. It's real important to treat people the right way, and you know, and treat them the way you would like to be treated. Now, think about if you're nervous and you're going to call a lawyer's office, and you've been in this wreck, and you don't even know whether you need to talk. You need a lawyer, but you don't know what to do. The insurance adjuster's calling and leaving messages. I think we've got to put ourselves in that position. And how would you like to be talked to when you call a law office?
Yeah.
You know, you want to be talked to, that you don't want to be talked down to. You want to be talked to with respect. You want to not feel like that lawyer or whoever you're talking to is in a hurry, because this is the most important thing going on for that person right then. So, and that's just a simple rule. I mean, there's no magic to that. I didn't learn that in a big textbook hidden away in the library at law school. And it's a good life, you know, just treat people and listen to them. And this is real hard for lawyers to do. It's particularly hard for me, according to Ben, is don't interrupt them. Mm-hmm. You know, we're kind of notorious. We finish people's sentences, and we just need to do what I call intensive, uninterrupted listening to these people who've got a problem. Now, sometimes they're on medication, so I think they want to talk more than they normally would talk, so you have to kind of draw them in. But that's kind of what we do. And most of the people that call us, Drew, they don't need to hire a lawyer at the time. Some of them are surprised at that. Sometimes I believe they may hang up from me and then call another lawyer because, well, that lawyer doesn't even think I need a lawyer.
Oh, okay.
But if you haven't been hurt seriously, and if the wreck happened in a real clear way that's clearly the other driver's fault, like a rear ender,
okay,
or someone pulling out from a stop sign, or someone crossing the center line. And the reason I point those out, because in some of the more complicated wrecks, it is important to get some legal help sooner because it needs to be investigated, but only if it's a serious injury.
Okay.
So we've learned to try to, we've kind of learned from our own practice, what do people need to know to be armed to deal with that adjuster without a lawyer? And one of the first things I would tell anybody is don't accept that $500 or $1,000 check that they're willing to pay you a day or two after the wreck.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think you're hurt too badly, or maybe not hurt at all. Because if you had some pain at the time of the wreck and it's kind of subsided, you want to make sure that you're through that. And in an insurance company, the reason they make those early offers and rush to settlement is because they don't want to take a chance on this becoming worse. And if we can get you some money, and they won't pay any money without you signing a release, releasing them from any further obligations. So number one rule is don't accept money and sign a release right in the beginning of a claim.
Okay.
Even if you think you're going to be okay. That same money that they offer you on day 2, they'll offer you on day 30.
Yeah.
They're not going to go down on what they're going to pay you just because you wait.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Would you think that's one of the first things?
I would, and those are the things that can be, we see, can be very challenging, is that these folks have signed over the rights to their case by accepting a smaller settlement.
Okay.
So these adjusters are trained in some insurance companies to not only just call, but to show up at their house.
They're persuasive.
With a check, and there's a check with their name on it for $500, and they say, look, we just want to take care of things. Sometimes they'll even promise, we'll pay you the $500, but we'll also cover some of your medical expenses. But they get to determine which medical expenses.
They use the term your reasonable medical expenses.
Okay.
So you have some expenses, and they say, well, we don't think they were reasonable. We only agreed to pay the reasonable medical expenses.
All right. We're going to have to take a short break, but we're going to be right back. And once again, at any time, operators are standing by live. You can call the number or go to whitleylawfirm.com. Back in just a moment.